This is just a quick instructional video to show you how to quickly and easily assemble your chipper when it arrives. The Skid Pro chipper is quite large in dimension. In order to ship it and to arrive in good condition, we crate it. Inside the crate, you'll also have the discharge chute and the chute rotation locking mechanism. The chipper arrives with the ends of the hoses stuffed into the discharge chute. First, remove the hoses from the chute. When you remove this first bracket, you want to make sure to save the 2 nylon locking nuts because they will be used later on the exact bolts that they are. That'll come when you assemble the feeder house onto where it belongs on the main body. So take these 2 and save them for later. The bottom bolt on the mounting bracket is removed to get the bracket out, but then the bolt goes back in that same exact place and is tightened down. The feeder house bracket on this side, all bolts will have to be moved to get the unpainted bracket out, and then all bolts will have to go back in to be correctly installed. The top 2 go into the rubber skirt, the debris guard on the inside of the feeder house, and the bottom bolt will go right back into the main frame of the chipper. Once the nylon locking nut is removed from the inside of the feeder house, you'll remove the unpainted silver bracket and then simply put the carriage bolts back in through the rubber skirt and tighten down with the locking nuts. Now that the feeder house is completely free, brackets removed, bolts all replaced in the rubber curtain, now we're going to attach the feeder house into its operational position. We're going to remove these 2 larger bolts, and you'll see here these bolts are welded into the frame here, and they're going to go down in these notches, and then you're going to use the 2 locking nuts that were on the initial bracket to hold the feeder house in shipment. So remove these bolts. Get some help because the feeder house is quite heavy. Then simply secure the nylon locking nuts back in place. Then we'll take the 2 smaller nuts that we had from the original bracket and we'll tighten them up on the bottom, which will fully secure the feeder house in place. The last step is to put the discharge chute on the body of the chipper. In order to do that, we'll take our 2 clamps that secure. This is the swivel locking mechanism, and we're going to remove all of the nuts and bolts out of this in order to get this mounted. A trick in assembling this, it's actually easier to do this on the ground. So you take your locking mechanism, you make sure your bolts are in and your pin is aligned. You simply slide those through where the ears are that perfectly mirror the locking handle. Then I take my 2 plates, the small plate is on top, and I line those up next. And then I grab my locking nuts and simply tighten those in place. Now that I've done that, we have half of the chute holding bracket in place. We're going to slide this right in to the top of the chipper body. So I take the handle down, I set the discharge chute on, and I slide it into position. That's the easiest way to do it with a single person. Now it's a matter of simply lining up the rest of the holes securing the nuts. Now you grab the second bracket, same thing, small one on top, big one on the bottom. We're going to slide that in as well, and then we're going to simply align the holes, the discharge chute brackets on. Once all the nuts have been secured, now the chute functions properly and locks down at any point. So it has 360-degree manual rotation. With setup now complete, you're ready to start using your chipper. As with all Skid Pro attachments, we recommend you read the owner's manual before operation.